So I'm out at the farm again today, and this video is going to be more about ammo selection than rifles. So I've got my Winchester Model 94 out again. You guys may remember it from the video where I shot it at 100 yards for the first time. And we're going to talk about Hornady LeverEvolution ammo and some possible problems that you guys could have when shooting them out of your Winchester 94. So, you know, we all remember the great 30-30 shortage that has been the last 3 years, right? We all remember that. Well, over that time, when I couldn't find any of the normal hunting ammo for my 30-30, I found a box of this Hornady LeverEvolution. This specific box is the 160 grain FTX ammo. And, you know, it's got the little pointy tip on it. It's supposed to, you know, make it have a better ballistics coefficient, and I'm sure it does. You know, and there's been a ton of videos that demonstrate this, and it makes a lot of sense. Pointy bullet, fly straighter than blunt bullet, right? But the issue is, when you go to load these into your Model 94, you may find that this pointy tip causes a problem. Stick around. Now, when I say the pointy tipped ammo is an issue, I'm not talking about, you know, the pointy tip making the primer in front of it blow up whenever it's in the magazine tube. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you take a look at your normal round-nosed 30-30 ammo, classic round, this is Winchester PowerPoint, versus our Hornady, you do see that there's a big difference in the way the tip of that bullet is shaped. Now, what the problem stems from is the follower that's in our Model 94. And this is especially true for the older ones. I think the newer ones, they sort of fix this, but that follower also has like a round nose on it. So when you're putting a round-nosed bullet up against it, it doesn't cause any issues pushing it down the tube. But when you put this pointy bullet toward it, that point sort of like goes around that round follower and kind of drags along the tube as it's being pushed down, which makes it hard to load a lot of rounds into this tube. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to first put this Winchester stuff down here, and you can just see how easily that goes in, right? Well, let me leave a little bit of it out. So we're going to load up 5 rounds. Again, this is just for demonstration to show you the way that it should load. Like, pretty easy. And these hold 7. Like, you should have no issue at all loading that all the way up and, you know, making it very easy to cycle through and having no issues. Now, let's unload these. And try that now with the Hornady. There's nothing in here right now. We're just gonna load it up. And already I'm feeling more resistance from that follower. All right, let's see. Let's take it out. Let's try again. We'll just leave a little bit. Yeah, it is hell pushing it in there. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh man, that is awful. We'll see if we can push it the rest of the way in with one of these. Okay. So now let's see how easy it would be to cycle these around. And there you go. You get nothing. I think it may lift it this time. Nope. So there's your issue. Like, these just simply do not like to cycle. There we go. Now this one will. And it's just, they're slow getting out. They're not going to play nice a lot of the time. Now, when you only load a couple in here, like I would normally do if I were hunting, you may not have this issue, but you're gonna have the issue if you put a lot of rounds in this, if you're putting 5 or more for sure. So what can we do to help with that? Well, as far as modifying the gun, you could probably change out the follower. From what I've read, the newer followers have a dimple in them, again, to accommodate for that pointed tip. But what I found the easiest thing to do is to simply load the first round, just make it a round point. Just load your first round in as a round point, and then follow it up with this Hornady stuff. And it loads much easier. And that's because the force of that follower pushing up against that first round really only affects the first round in the bullet, or in the tube. Now, I still probably wouldn't load it all the way up if I was deer hunting. I typically don't put more than 3 or 4 in the tube when I'm deer hunting, because down here, I mean, we got a lot of woods. If I miss on that first shot, I'm not going to be hitting that deer. So let's see how these cycle now. Much better. And then we get to our last one. Now, while we've got this gun out today, we're going to take a couple shots with this Hornady LeverEvolution at 100 yards and see what we can hit. But mainly, the main point I was trying to make is that you do not have to modify your gun to get this stuff to cycle easier in it. Just start it off with a blunt tipped bullet, and the rest should follow it easily. All right, I've got 3 rounds of LeverEvolution behind the 1 round of Winchester PowerPoint acting as my co-follower. I've got a piece of steel set up about 100 yards away, and this time I've got cardboard put behind it, so if I miss this first shot, I'm going to see which direction it's going and make adjustments accordingly, instead of just guessing like I have in the past and wasting a bunch of ammo. All right, here we go. I've also taken I've taken my sight cover off just to make it a little bit easier, because that front post does cover up that entire gong at 100 yards. Let's see where we are. That's a hit. That's a hit. The bad thing about doing this with the lever action too is you have to stand up to cycle it. So you have to move the rifle more, and you're more likely to kind of forget where you were holding, which is what's going on with me right now. That's a miss. Well, let's go see where those 2 hits made it on the circle. Okay, here's my 2 hits at 100 yards with LeverEvolution. You know, I'm sure with that Marlin, with the scope on it, of course it'd be much better, right? But a 100-yard shot would be sort of rare for where I hunt with the 30-30 anyway. But there we are. There's our 2 hits at 100 yards. So the point of this video, again, is not to show you how poor of a shot I am at 100 yards with open sights on a 30-30, because again, I feel perfectly comfortable shooting at a deer at these distances, but you know, most of the time I'm not going to get the opportunity. When I'm hunting with the 30-30, I'm hunting in some dense woods that furthest shot I might get is 60 yards. Anything beyond that, you know, I've got a 270 and a 243 that will handle those. But the point of this video was to show you guys that if you have bought this Hornady LeverEvolution, maybe it was the only thing you saw on the shelf, maybe it's been a while since you've been able to get your hand on some Remington Core Locks or Winchester PowerPoints or Federal Power Shocks, that yeah, you might find when you go to load these that they don't want to load right. And that's what happened to me. So instead of going out spending more money, if you've just got a handful of these round nose bullets, use them as the follower themselves, and it works great, guys. Again, it'll save you some money. Instead of having to go replace the follower with one of the new ones. Again, from what I've heard, the newer Moroku made 94s and maybe even some of the New Haven 94s before they went overseas had that updated follower. This specific Model 94 was made in '78 and it just doesn't. And I'm assuming that most of the folks who still own these own the older ones because they made a ton of them. So if you have those issues, give this a try. Hopefully I've been able to save you some frustration. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on tightening those groups up at 100 yards. Thanks for stopping by. If you don't mind, please do subscribe to the channel. Also follow us on Instagram. We're at Yonder Oak, same as the channel name here. I post behind the scenes video and photos, some cooking videos, and other short form content that doesn't make its way to YouTube. Thanks again for stopping by.